Imagine sitting in a classroom, believing you are learning the full story of history. But what if that story is only half true? Every year, millions of American students study history from textbooks approved by their schools. But here's something most people don't realize. There is no single national curriculum. But here's something most people don't realize. There is no single national curriculum. That means history can look very different depending on where you live. Some topics are explored deeply, while others are only briefly mentioned. And some stories are barely told at all. Not always because they are unimportant, but because they are uncomfortable. Subjects like slavery are taught, but often without full detail. Painful truths are sometimes softened for classrooms. Politics also plays a role, shaping what students are allowed to learn. As leadership changes, so can the version of history being taught. Even textbooks themselves are carefully selected and approved, which means not every perspective makes it inside. There's also another problem. Time is limited. Teachers must cover years of history in just a few months, so they focus on major events and leave out the smaller, deeper stories. Stories that might change how we see the past. Many students only discover later that there was more to learn. Some chapters of history feel like they're missing because history is not just facts. It is written by people, and those with power often shape the narrative. What students learn today was not the same decades ago. New discoveries continue to change the story. Some students begin to ask questions the textbooks don't answer. And that's where real learning begins. By questioning everything. There are still voices that were never fully heard. So what is the complete truth? And can it ever be fully known? Maybe history isn't just what we're taught, but what we choose to discover ourselves. Not everyone sees history the same way, because not everyone is taught the same version. Culture shapes the stories we hear, and the ones we never do. Many complex events are simplified to fit inside a classroom. But when things are simplified, important details often disappear. Some believe students should be protected from the harshest parts of history, but that protection can come with a cost, the loss of truth. The voices of real people are sometimes left out completely. Stories that could change everything if they were fully told. So what happens when students start asking deeper questions? They begin searching for answers outside the classroom. And sometimes what they discover is very different. Different enough to leave them shocked. It can even break their trust in what they once believed. It can even break their trust in what they once believed. This debate is still happening today, Crosswalkens. Parents also play a role in shaping what children learn. And media, movies, and the internet add their own version of the story. But entertainment is not always reality. To truly understand history, we must look at the bigger picture. And that responsibility falls on each of us. Because the truth is not always given. Sometimes it must be discovered. Sometimes the loudest truths are hidden in the quietest classrooms. It's not just about what is taught, but what is never said. Every line in a textbook is carefully chosen for a reason. And sometimes important lines are removed before they're ever read, because knowledge is powerful, and power is often controlled. Students may not notice it at first, but something always feels missing, and that feeling slowly turns into curiosity. A curiosity that pushes them to search for answers on their own. But the deeper they go, the more conflicting stories they find. And suddenly, nothing feels simple anymore. What is the truth? And what is just someone's version of it? Because history is not fixed. It continues to evolve over time. Each new generation grows up, learning a slightly different version. And with that, more questions begin to rise. Some choose to follow the system, but others choose to question it. They stop depending on one source and begin thinking for themselves. And that's where real understanding begins, beyond the classroom walls. Because history is bigger than any single book or lesson. It's not just about what we were taught, but what we choose to discover. And maybe the real history is still waiting to be found.